Yeah, I'm late. Sorry about that, but it's Mother's Day and thank you. This is the work of Avery and Jasmine, even though it had everybody's name on it. I know who did it. I'm the mom. I always know. They're gorgeous. And I went out walking and I just put 8 miles of walking in the walking bank. So yeah, no, there's no makeup. There's nothing. There's nothing organized here. And we're okay with that because it's Mother's Day. And in honor of Mother's Day, I thought that would be a great idea to read some of my columns that were informed or influenced by my children. We always talk about how parents, mothers, impact their children. But I'm really into how my children have changed me for the better, much, much better. I am incredibly lucky to be the mom of 4 boys that I had, and the wonderful and spectacular Lizzie, who became a part of my life and I hers a few years ago. Better late than never. I love you, baby. I love you all. So, as we heard during the mermaid stories, Ian had a profound impact in making those stories happen. So I went digging for some other stories that I had written. I'm going to move these a little bit over here just because I can't fit the stories in. So I'm gonna start with one of the older ones. Man, I'm a mess tonight. I'll start with one of the older ones from, I think, the New York Times. No, Philadelphia Inquirer, actually. Couple from the Philadelphia Inquirer, and then one brand new one from a new outlet that I just started to write for, Vocal Media. But again, like the Fables, I go back to these stories, and let's see if you can guess when this one was written. I mean, obviously the ages of the kids is going to kind of give it away, but this one is a commentary that I wrote about Ian. It's called Why Not a World of Small Kindnesses. Anyone who's ever had a child knows what it is like when the favorite toy vanishes and the hunt begins in earnest. It is a scenario played out dozens of times with varying results. The story of the little red car is one that bears repeating because its lesson can be learned anywhere and at any time. When my son Ian was 2, we were living in a tiny fishing village on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Goodland was a 1-mile postage stamp on the verge of the Everglades. We had just arrived in the village aboard our 38-foot live-aboard sailboat, and I had taken Ian for a stroller tour of the village. His prized possession was a little red Matchbox car. It was his companion for meals, bed, and flights of endless fancy. His first and only sentence at that time was, "Red car, go!" Of course, he nodded off in the stroller sometime during that tour, and the red car dropped noiselessly from his slackened grip, and time for his second sentence. "Red car gone! Red car gone!" Days passed, and he wept for his lost companion. No other red car could replace the red car. At the end of the week, we walked to the village to get our mail at the post office. Now, postage stamp-sized villages do not deliver door-to-door mail service. No, you go to the post office and you talk to the postmistress, Tommy D. Moss, whom I had yet to meet, and you get your mail, news, and your gossip. I opened the tiny brass and glass door to retrieve the mail, and out shot the red car. While Ian whooped with joy, I knocked on the door of the office. Tommy poked her head out and said, "Oh, you must be the folks on the sailboat." She proceeded to retrace the chain of events that had brought the car to the box. A woman was out walking, and she spotted it by the road, and she asked to see if any of the village children were missing anything, and it passed from hand to hand to hand until someone mentioned seeing us out strolling. Finally, they went to the post office, and Tommy put it into our box. "I figured you were the most likely owners, and if it wasn't yours, you would turn it back in and we would solve it eventually," she said. Now, we've sold the boat and moved to a house in Medford, New Jersey, a stone's throw from suburban sprawl. It's a friendly place with a lake club, parades, community activities, and festivals. If it has one flaw, it is that a little red car here does not stand much of a chance. But because people aren't, not because people aren't caring or good, but because that idea simply isn't here. This is the real world. We're too busy and too uncomfortable with what people would think about our showing that kind of concern. Today, one of Ian's cars went missing, and it put me in mind of the red car story, which I related to a friend. "Well, you can kiss that car goodbye," she said. "You're back in the real world now, and things like that, they just don't happen here." Well, why not? Okay, it isn't a 1 mile square village filled with people who take the time to go out of their way for their neighbors. But why not? I'm serious. It's all in the attitude. It could be a village in Florida, a lakeside community in New Jersey, or a slice of New York or LA. If people begin to think in 1 mile squares instead of the confines of their building lots, the weave of the community fabric knits more closely and less falls through the gaps. You say 1 mile is too much to ask, especially in a metropolis. Well, okay, let's say 1 block squares. I'm not telling people to invite everyone they meet to dinner or toss caution to the wind. However, I do not accept the use of a community's size as an excuse for living in a cocoon, insulated from anyone other than our immediate peer group. It is possible for people to know their neighbors, even if it's just by sight and a friendly greeting. I think that we long for that feeling of Mayberry and our town and Bedford Falls of It's a Wonderful Life. We can begin to expand our squares. You might be surprised. Knowing these people might help you find something that you've lost. Go, Ian. That red car. There's a lot of Ian in here tonight, I've discovered. I don't know why that is. This is just the quick pull of these. I was going to read another one, but while the boys are in it, there's just a little too much ex-husband in that one. We don't want any more weeping. No, it's my day. If you're a mom watching, it's your day. It's our day. We can do whatever the heck we want. So I'm switching it up. So this one's also from the Philadelphia Inquirer. And it's interesting. Again, let's see if we can guess the year of this because it all just sounds so familiar. I wrote a fable. I completely forgot I'd written this. I wrote a lot of stuff. I forgot I wrote this. It's called A Fable for Trying Times, helping children understand the world of grown-up politics. Okay, when I'm done reading this, I'm going to tell you what year I wrote it. All right. Here's how I explain the election to my children and those who act like them. Fall came to the mountain. Time to choose a new ruler for the day-to-day world. Animals usually chose from the elephant tribe or the donkey herd. The elephant suggested a bird. The elephant is huge, powerful, and he never forgets the rules. Mouse said, elephants may be big and have long memories, but they run at the sight of one as small as myself. You know, donkeys can go far and they carry a heavy load. The animals were growing tired of arguing and thinking. They led busy lives. They didn't have time for politics. They all trusted that it would just work itself out. Now, Fox did not much care which creature won the election, so long as it was one that could be easily controlled. An elephant that could remember right from wrong wouldn't be a good choice. Likewise, the donkey, with its stubborn streak, that was going to be a problem. Fox had an idea. A rock. A rock, Fox said. I say, let's vote for a rock. There was an uproar among the beasts. The choices are elephant and a donkey, roared the lion. Then let there be an elephant rock and a donkey rock, the fox answered. When elephants sit, they look just like rocks. When a donkey's being stubborn, it too resembles a large, unmoving stone. Let each group choose a stone to represent them. Rocks are strong, steadfast, and rocks last. Fox then pointed to two huge hunks of stone. One was tall, the other squat. One was a bit lumpy, whereas the other one was smooth. They were just different enough to find arguments for or against each one. They were just alike enough that those arguments wouldn't become too heated. There they are now, Fox said, the perfect candidates. And so it was that the beasts began to examine the rocks and choose a leader. The animals saw the rocks as diamonds in the rough. But Fox knew better. Each creature, great and small, went to the old deciding tree upon the mountain. Each cast his vote by making a mark on the tree. Those choosing first rocks marked on one side. Those choosing second rock marked on the other side. When all the votes were cast, the tally was announced. It's a tie, the eagle said. We have no winner. For the first time, Fox showed irritation. It was not as if either of the two candidates was so remarkable. A rock was a rock. Oh, perhaps that was the problem. The fox had another idea. Okay. We shall let the powers that be decide. This sparked a fresh round of arguments. In the end, the more powerful animals sided with Fox, and so it was that the wind, the rain, the sun, and the clock of life, the powers, as they were often called, were asked to make the decision for the people. The powers decided to examine the votes. Sun shone hard on the tree so that all could see clearly. Wind blew hard to clear away any dust that might have settled on the tree and filled in any of the marks made by the animals. The old, dry, brittle tree began to worm from the sun's attention, and suddenly the tree burst into flame. Wind fanned the flames, and before long, the tree was ablaze. Rain doused the tree, but it was too late. Time stood still as the stunned creature stared at the mess that had been made by the powers that be. In all the confusion, the two rocks were caught in the blazing sun, howling wind and pouring rain, and were trampled by the beasts. The two rocks crumbled. Diminished by the turmoil, they were little more than pebbles. The creatures turned on Fox and began to howl and snarl. Fox ran for his life, then the animals turned on one another. Into the chaos stepped a small boy. He reached down and he picked up the two pebbles. He squinted hard at the little rocks, then at the charred tree. Look at the things that you fight over, the child said. You thought it would be easier to leave things to others. You were too busy to care, but not too busy to fight and to blame. all felt humbled. From then on, the animals knew that while choosing a leader could be beastly, they should always look at their decisions through the eyes of a child. Anybody want to guess when that one was written? Because it wasn't 2016 and it wasn't 2020. It was December 2000. I don't know. I think I'm sad now. December 2000. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It sounded like it could have been yesterday. All right. The last story, once again, brings us around on the guitar to young Ian. Let's think of what this says about Ian. Many good things. So this is modern times for me. It was from Vocal Media, and I don't think I'm reading it because the printout of it is gone. Oh my gosh. I have a solution. We're going on a field trip. Ready? Because I still have it up on the computer. Because this is what moms do. Are we scared? Hell no. No, is the lighting over here crappy? Sure it is. Do I look like a hot mess? You betcha. But here we go. This is from Vocal Media, Humans, Starbucks Mom Report. Aw, there's my boy. All right, here we go. Or we don't. I'm not having technical difficulties tonight, am I? Oh, here we go. Yay. I'm a Starbucks mom. I've been the crying towel, listening to my son, daughter, and their respective crews in Virginia and Colorado for months. Now, I'm here to address the issue of the legions of Karens, Sharons, Beckys, and Chads, KSBC, who make the lives of employees miserable. Rather than try and reason or scold the Karens, Sharons, Beckys, and Chads, a fool's errand, I'm reaching out to all the fantastic patrons who tip, leave good reviews on Yelp, and believe in random acts of kindness. When the tip jar was stolen, you're the patrons who saw the post on Facebook and made time in your day to go refill it. On Christmas Day, when baristas went 2 shifts without a single tip, you dropped a $100 bill into the jar. So I'm talking to you. All I want you to do is enlist more patrons to do what you do, especially when you're in a location watching a Karen, Sharon, Becky, Chad, unleashing their inner rage monkey and having a first world problem meltdown because a barista somehow failed them in their hour of upside down skinny unicorn 17 pump snarkachino need. I think that bears repeating. They're having a meltdown because a barista somehow failed them in their hour of upside down, skinny unicorn 17 pump snarkachino need. Also, I'm sorry to have to report that there are people who don't just take out their frustrations on baristas with a single rant. Sometimes they target an employee because they're bullies who recognize when someone can't fight back. These people will come back to the same location repeatedly to get their daily fix, not of coffee, but of petty power. Their drink will never be right, no matter who makes it. There will always be too much ice, and the barista will be too deaf or stupid to make it right. The fictional barista who made it the last time was competent. But whatever server they have in front of them is an idiot deserving of a public shaming. All this is important because those who serve others and manage to keep smiling through the abuse, exhaustion, and low pay, they're a special breed. He doesn't know it, but I sneak into Starbucks and watch my son serve others, just to see him live up to his potential. I wish I could see my daughter too, but she's in Denver. I know she's there, being effervescent and bright as a new penny. With a line going out the door at peak hours, I hear my son putting people at ease, absorbing a massive amount of data input for each crazy order, and graciously bending down to hear what little children have to say. He's up at 4 a.m. to bike 5 miles to work in all kinds of weather because he can't afford the parking fees. Often, I'll wake up at 3:30 in the morning and drive him just to spare him the cold or the rain. My son will graduate from the university this spring, a triple major, business, Japanese, and Chinese. And here comes Karen, Sharon, Becky, Chad to tell him he's too stupid to take a simple order. FYI, it's never simple. Every order has a mashup of shots, pumps, froths, and drizzles. Okay, so you're going to know Karen, Sharon, Becky, Chad because they will be loud, huffing, eye-rolling for the crowd in order to build the anxiety level in the server until they actually force a failure. At that moment, realize that the person being driven to quit or possibly be fired is there because they need the health insurance and a chance at a scholarship. My kids chose to work there for those benefits. You may ask, have I ever gotten a drink or food order that was wrong? Sure I did. Did it annoy me? Yup. However, it's never, ever worth making someone lose their job and health insurance over a food or beverage order. So, here are some Starbucks mom pro tips if you want to help out in a situation like this. Step 1, smile. Try it. It's your superpower. Step 2, when it's your turn, radiate that smile at the person who's being blasted and say something like, you're doing just fine. I appreciate you. Step 3, don't make eye contact or speak to the Karen, Sharon, Becky, Chad. This is vital. They are conflict vampires who feed on being acknowledged as a source of all pain. That's their superpower. Step number 4, when it's your turn, ask the employee's name and say, I want to make sure that I give you a good review because I appreciate you. Pro tip, if you have friends with you or there are other patrons who look sympathetic, you can quietly encourage them to follow your lead. That's it. It's that simple. Someone is sucking all of the positivity out of the room and you're just putting it back. Thank you in advance. On behalf of Starbucks families everywhere, have a Trenta-size Happy-Chino kind of day. This is me hoping you didn't see too much of the messy room. Yeah, it's pretty messy in here. All right, so not only is it Mother's Day, not only did we get flowers and stories, but I took you on a field trip. I mean, I'm telling you, it's totally all about rolling with the punches, right? Because that's what parenting is. Because any idiot can be a mother, any idiot can be a father. But on Mother's Day and Father's Day, I'll tell you again on Father's Day, the thing to remember is praise someone for being a great parent. Because that's what it's all about. Thanks for being here, and happy Mother's Day to everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow night.